How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So, carrying on with the rebuild of my 7M block. Everything is all done at the machine shop. He said, I hope you're not in a rush because we're really busy. Did my little joking thing like, yeah, sweet, next week will be fine. So I don't actually know how long it'll take. A few weeks, probably. But in the meantime, there's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Especially since I'm not really sure I'll make the first round of Drift South, so maybe I should take my time. I wanted to redo the front end. It was quite messy where the oil cooler was, and it was just straight up messy. So I wouldn't mind trying to simplify the front end and get some better airflow to everything, and possibly tilt the radiator on an angle and cut the hood to have a bit of a exit for air. So yeah, I might start on that. I think what I might do is I'll actually probably put that block, the cracked one, back in the car, and a spare head. I'm just going to assemble a spare motor in the car so that I can, just replan all my coolant lines and replan all my oil cooler lines, and possibly change up intercooler piping a little bit as well at the same time. So it'll just be easier with the spare block in there, and that way I'm not waiting for my built one to come back to actually get a start on that. Try and save some time. Well, that is the now, dummy block in place. I'm just going to have a quick rummage through the pile and grab my spare head, chuck that on, and then I can start mocking things up to see what I'm going to do with my oil cooler lines and stuff. So where I'm at for now, I've pulled all the wiring. As you can see, that was all sat there. Pull all the wiring back, it's all on this side now, and I'm going to probably strip this apart, maybe, depends on how motivated I feel, and get rid of all the redundant wiring. Maybe. At the very least anyway, I'm going to reroute all this stuff because I thought it was a fantastic idea. I'll put it all inside the guards so that I don't rub through it. But it really did bother me. It was so ugly. So I'm actually just going to tuck it back up. And just because it's normally run there, and I have run through it before, I'm going to tuck it up and mount it. Yeah, it's hard to get the phone there. Just going to take my word for it. Mount it slightly higher, so it'll be running along here at the top of the guard. Rewrite that wiring. I really should get rid of a lot of the redundant stuff and put that in a tidier position on the side there. Get rid of that swirl pot thing from that corner, and just generally just try and tidy up the engine bay quite a lot is the plan, because I'm thinking I might make something custom for the water neck. Probably have like something like that swirl pot, maybe exactly that swirl pot built into it, rather than a separate swirl pot system. Have that at the top here to the radiator. We'll see. Might be one of those things. I might just have to miss a few events and tidy up the car the way I want it for once, rather than years of rushing patchwork. Well, I couldn't help myself. I've started stripping off all this corrugated shit. Get the loom itself is underneath, it's actually quite tidy. But like this shit here, this ugliness. So that's like, that is all I need. That is my headlights, and that is garbage. But I do have off to the one side side marker. Basically, I just need hold on to drop this on the ground. I just need that for my front indicator, that for my headlights. So I'm going to strip this wiring back, and all this other stuff can be taken out of the loom. When I've got it apart, I just make sure that I'll quickly cut this tape here, pull out what I want, and quickly tape it back down so that all the plugs are in the right position where they want to be on the loom. And then I'll wrap this whole thing with loom tape once I'm finished stripping out the things I don't need. And just gave the engine bay on this side, not that side, this side, just a quick repaint and just retidied up the firewall as well. So I'll do the same on the other side when I get to it. Well, probably tomorrow. But for now, I'm just going to start tackling some of this wiring, which is an absolute mess, which I'm going to try and look semi-acceptable. I started stripping this all out now. This is what I wanted to keep from that dirty pile that I showed you. And I'm just going through and at each part where the loom is tied together, I'm just snipping that, removing the stuff I don't want, and then retaping it back together to keep it tidy until I'm finished, and then I'll retape the entire lot. Yeah, just a process of finding the bits that I don't need. I'm not a wiring expert. Realistically, I probably shouldn't be playing with this, but this stuff here has all been capped off and not used for a very long time. So as long as I take it out of the loom completely properly, it should be fine. I shouldn't have any issues. But I wouldn't suggest that you just go start hacking into your loom without having some idea of what you're removing, because you could end yourself up in a bit of a pickle when suddenly something doesn't work later on down the line that you didn't think of. Well, I managed to strip all this shit out of the loom, so that'll just be headlight motors and some headlight wiring. So it is maybe third smaller, well, 3/4 of the size it used to be. So I just need to get some loom tape and wrap all that up. I've made sure to keep everything coming out of the loom at the same spot so it all lines up. And another quick coat of paint on there, and then hopefully, yeah, tomorrow I get some loom tape, wrap that up and start to run that through the guards. And not sure where I'm going to run it through here, whether I'll run it up under the nose cone and then down through there, but I hope you wouldn't see that through the front grille. Shouldn't do, depending on how I do it. Or I could run it down lower. That's another day's problem anyway. Either way, I want to have it so you can't see it as much as you used to be able to, and try and have a bit of a tidier bay. I've got the engine bay all painted now. Still got to pick up the tape to tape up that loom before I can put that away where it needs to. I'm just kind of playing around with ideas for cooling now. So I talked for a while ago about running my radiator like this on an angle and doing some good boxing to the front and moving the oil cooler away from there, and then also making a really big hole in my hood to allow, and even maybe a vent up the motor to allow a good exit of air to get straight out of the hood. So doing a bit of a mock-up of that. So I just chuck the compressor housing roughly where it goes to see where I can put, like, my water pump could probably be quite a good spot there, probably better than where it was hanging off the floor. Does mean I can possibly try running a sway bar, though if you look at my wheel clearance, it is minimal. So that's almost hard up against the subframe. That's the wheel almost touching the tie rod. So there is not a lot of room to run a sway bar. I might be able to sneak it just in that gap above the subframe, but I have to be really tight to the body. So we'll see how we go. But I wouldn't mind trying one. So I just dropped my intercooler on the ground. Yeah! That's a lot of rubbish come out of that. I did it a second ago to my radiator as well. Perfect little rectangle of rubber. Not sure how well that flowed, eh? I reckon I should probably pay to drop it a couple more times to clean it out, because that's mostly dirt. Mostly dirt. The radiator was mostly rubber. Obviously the intercooler filtered the dirt. Apologies about the bloody washing machine, but that is the loom all wrapped. Looking much tidier, and I'm going to try and run it as discreetly as possible and not through up over the top of that guard. So hopefully you won't see much of this anymore, which would be the main goal, and the bits you do see will be tidy. So this is potentially well, hopefully, because I'm finished, it's a final position. So fuse box is looking much tidier. Obviously that's just going to go down to the alternator. There will be a giant intake there covering half that shit anyway. So I do still have the wiring running up this guard. But I've got the rest of it running up through here, then down and along the front of this nose cone. I did have it tucked slightly further down before, but by the time I got around to this side, I'd run out of length, and I really didn't feel like after I'd finished like extending and lengthening all the wires. So yeah, now those will be run inside the guards, tied up well out of the way so the tyre can't hit it, and that will be essentially what this side's going to look like, other than the intercooler piping, when everything is back in. So much tidier. It's one of those things that it's like, for me it's vast improvement from what it was but everyone else will be like, that's how it should be, right? So I'm just fixing up all my hoary things. So next on the list, I guess, is going to be oil cooler lines. That'll be fun.